My name is Andy, and first let me introduce to you my family. So I have a wife named Cassia. I have a daughter named Eden, who's 3 years old. I have a son named Daniel and a daughter named Esther. And all of us just moved to Taiwan. So let me tell you a little bit about where I'm from. I am from Los Angeles, California, in America. It's a beautiful place with many beaches and big cities and mountains. It's a great place. But I have moved many times in my life. So a few places I have moved are, I've moved to Russia. I lived there for 2 years when I was a young child. It was really like a winter wonderland there. It was a lot of fun and a big adventure. Later, my family moved to Texas. You know, Texas is a place that has lots of cowboys. Actually, there's not very many cowboys, but there really are still some cowboys today. I was not a cowboy, though. A cowboy, you know, they ride a horse, they wear a cowboy hat and wear boots. But I lived in the big city of Texas, so I was not a cowboy. But I did go to a university in Texas called the University of Texas at Arlington. And this university had so many international students. I met so many friends from around the world. I met people from India, from China, from Taiwan, from Japan, from Korea, many places. And it was a great cross-cultural experience. Later, I had an opportunity to go to China, where I studied Chinese at a university for 4 years. I made a lot of friends there and learned a whole lot. Then, later, I went back to America during the pandemic time, and then I started really thinking about where I wanted to live next. And my family decided to then move to Taiwan. And we are so glad that we chose Kaohsiung. It's a wonderful city, and we already speak some Mandarin, and so we're so glad to be here. So today, I want to share 5 lessons for cross-cultural success. The first lesson is this: see every person as incredibly valuable. That is a great starting place for cross-cultural success. We need to see every person as incredibly valuable. Every person needs to be treated with kindness and respect. It doesn't matter if you are rich or poor, if you're pretty or ugly, every life has incredible worth. And every life is very important. And also, every life is equally valuable. For me, I came to this conclusion from my Christian faith. The Bible says that all people are created in God's image. That means that people are like God in a way that other life forms are not. Plants and animals are alive and have great value as well, but humans have a deeper, special value. Whether you have a religion or not, I hope you will come to the same conclusion, that every person is incredibly valuable, and every person is equally valuable. Throughout history, some of the worst tragedies have been when people forgot these important things. I'll give you an example. One is the Holocaust. This is one of the worst examples of this. The Nazis saw the Jews as not equally valuable. So they decided to murder them. Therefore, a great starting place when we talk about cross-cultural relationships is adopting this belief that all people are incredibly valuable and all people have equal value. If a culture gets that right, they are really set up for success. Okay, here's lesson 2. We need to enjoy cultural differences, but do not emphasize skin color. There are so many beautiful things that we can enjoy about different cultures. People work, they play, they eat, they speak, and they think in many different ways. We should explore and enjoy these different cultures. However, we should not focus too much on skin color. Some people talk about skin color way too much. Skin colors are like flowers. Flowers have both a variety of colors, but each kind is beautiful. The color of someone actually does not define someone. We are much deeper than that. You have probably heard of Martin Luther King Jr. He's famous for his "I have a dream" speech. But did you know what his dream was? Here are a few lines from his speech. He said, "I have a dream that one day this nation, that's America, will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood." He also said, "I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a city that will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character." He also said, "I have a dream that one day, right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and little white girls as sisters and brothers." You see, his dream was that skin color would matter less in the future. That should be our hope too. It should matter less and less if someone is white, black, brown, or Asian. We should care little what color someone is. Let's not focus on skin color. That is divisive. It divides people. But we can and we should continue to enjoy and appreciate the varieties of culture around us. Okay, here's lesson 3. Don't wait to be loved. Love first. As a general rule, most people are waiting to be loved. Few people take the initiative to love first. Both sides don't want to say or do anything wrong. This is especially true in cross-cultural relationships. Nobody wants to offend the other person. So then nothing bad happens, but then nothing good happens either. People are just waiting around to be loved. Waiting for the other person to go first. Someone needs to love first. So how can we do that? Here are a few suggestions. The first one is be interested in others. A famous author named Dale Carnegie said this: "You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you." That's really true. We need to show that we are interested in others, not just try to get them to look at me, look at me, look at me. Another tip is this: to smile. Dale Carnegie also said, "Actions speak louder than words, and a smile says, 'I like you. You make me happy. I am glad to see you.'" I really think the easiest way to break the culture barrier and the language barrier is with a smile. I remember one time I was nervous before giving a speech to a bunch of people I had never met before. But I remember telling myself, "Andy, if you would just smile a lot, then people will like you." And that really helped me a lot. So I just smiled a lot, and I think people did like me. So if you get nervous in a social situation, just tell yourself, smile a lot, and everything will be okay. I think in general, that's true. Nowadays, with COVID, we often have to wear masks. So it becomes more difficult to smile. But you can still smile through a mask. You can. Actually, you can tell if someone is smiling, even if they're wearing a mask, because you can tell in their eyes if they're smiling. Also, did you know that you can hear a smile as well? Try it. Next time you're on the phone talking to someone, pay attention, and you can actually hear if they're smiling or not. So even on the phone, we should try to smile. This is one of the best ways to just cut through the culture barrier. You have to make a choice. Are you going to wait to be loved? Or are you going to love first? I challenge you to love first. There's a good chance if you just wait around that you're going to be lonely in life. And I don't want you to be lonely. So decide, instead of waiting for other people to invite you to do stuff, love them first. Invite them to do stuff. Take the risk. It's worth it to take the risk. This is where, for me, I also get a lot of strength from my Christian faith. I know God loves me. And even if I am rejected by others, I know I am still loved. So this gives me a lot of strength to keep taking risks. Fear of rejection is a real thing. But if you can get over the fear of rejection, wow, then your life will really change a lot. Let me tell you a little about my YouTube channel. So about 6 months ago, I started a YouTube channel when my family and I moved to Taiwan. Some of the things that I'm sharing today, I've been trying to practice on my YouTube channel. So the vision of my channel is 3 things: to explore more, to learn more, and to love more. To explore more is a challenge to try new things, to go new places, and to experience more of life. To learn more is an invitation to my subscribers to join me and my family on our journey of becoming bilingual in English and Chinese. Also, our channel acts as a cultural exchange, a 文化交流. So people from America, Taiwan, and other countries can share culture and learn from each other. Finally, the vision of my channel is to love more. I want to inspire people to love their families well, to love their friends well, to love those different than them, and also to love those in need. So I invite you to join our community on YouTube, and let's grow in these areas together. And we'll also have a lot of fun. The next point is this. Lesson 4. People do what makes sense to them. Now, people might not do what makes sense to you, but everything they do makes sense to them. It might not make good sense, but they think it is a good idea. If not, they would not do that idea. All people everywhere only do what they think is a good idea. How do people decide what is a good idea? Well, there's 2 ways they do it. It's through their perspective and values. Our perspective is how we see the world. It's our sunglasses over our eyes. It affects how we see things. Our perspective is how we think life works. We might be wrong, but we think life works that way. Our values are our priorities, what we think is first, second, and third, what we think is most important, and what we think is next important. Every culture has different perspective and values, and every person has different perspective and values. So how does this affect cross-cultural relationships? This helps us understand people. If something is confusing or strange to you, ask yourself, what perspective does this person have that makes them do that? Or what does this person value highly? This will help you better understand people. And if you can better understand people, you can better relate to people. So here is a really helpful phrase about this. Remember this phrase. It's not bad, it's just different. There are many things about our culture that is not really bad, but you will think it's weird or even stupid. It will not make sense to you. But remember this phrase, it's not bad, it's just different. For example, when a Westerner travels to Asia, they will see a lot of these. We call them squatty potties. And foreigners are really afraid of squatty potties. Many of us try to avoid them. But over time, I got used to them. And actually, I started to see it from the perspective of many people in Asia. And now, I kind of like them. So first, they're cleaner. You don't have to touch anything. And second, I think they're healthier too. I saw a diagram one time that explains how it's healthier to squat rather than sit to go to the restroom. So, it's a different perspective, but it's not bad, it's just different. That's just one of many examples. When you enter a new culture, just remember, it's not bad, it's just different. Now, there are some things that are bad, that are actually evil, and every culture has some evil. But many things are not bad or good, they're just different. One day, when I was in China, I was eating hot pot with a friend, and we were having an interesting conversation about a perspective about an egg. And some people said, you cannot crack an egg with one hand, with just your fist. And another person said, sure you can. So we debated for a while. Finally, I decided to give it a try. So I took the egg and held it over the hot pot, and I cracked it, and the egg flew out of my hand and hit my friend in the face. Everyone started laughing really loud, and it was a really funny experience. So whoever had that perspective that you can't crack an egg with one hand, I'm sorry, I think they are wrong. So we have to remember, we always do what makes sense to us at the time. We may be wrong. Our perspective may be wrong, but we think it's a good idea. This is really helpful for us understanding people and culture, because everyone has these perspectives and their values. Okay, lesson 5. We need to give space for differences and mistakes. First, give space for differences. If we are going to have good cross-cultural relationships, we have to be willing to accept different thinking and different behavior. The key to harmony is to allow freedom to think differently, diversity of thought. People will never agree 100%. There will always be very intelligent people with very different opinions. So who's right? They're both intelligent, but they disagree. That will happen. A harmonious culture will not shut down debate or discussion on an issue. Harmony comes from giving the space and the freedom to have different opinions. This can also be called tolerance. Tolerance says, I disagree with you, but we can still be friends. Tolerance says, I disagree with you, but I still respect you. Tolerance says, I disagree with you, but I will still be kind to you. That's what we need more of. You can even try to persuade each other on things. That's a good thing. It's good to have your thinking challenged sometimes. This sharpens your mind and helps us improve ourselves. Okay, let's keep going. The next point was we should give space for different mistakes. We are all going to make mistakes. You will make cultural mistakes. You will have miscommunications. You will get offended, and other people will offend you. It's normal to happen. The important thing is to keep small things small in cross-cultural relationships. Don't make a big deal of a small mistake. Keep the small things small. We need to forgive and forget. Give people a break. Allow space for learning and growing. Here is another thing that will really help your cross-cultural relationships. It's this. Remember that hurt people hurt people. If you have been hurt by others, you are more likely to turn around and hurt other people. It's like a hurt cycle. And what we have to do is we have to learn to break this cycle. Someone has to decide, I will not hurt them back. Instead, I'm going to love them back. And you can't just ignore them. Ignoring people is also hurtful. It hurts to be ignored. No, you have to love them right after they hurt you. You do something kind for them right after they were unkind to you. The Bible also talks about this. The Bible says we should overcome evil with good. It's hard to do, but you can do it. Okay, the final lesson. Here's the next one. It's all about motivation. When I was in college, I met an international student named Austin. He was from Korea. But the day I met him, I had an interesting thought. I thought in my head, I don't think I can be good friends with this guy. Why? Because his English was not very good. That was my thought. It was not a very kind thought. But that's what I thought. We can't really be friends. His English is just too bad. But what happened next was amazing. He started hanging out with me and my friends, spending lots of time with us. And he would always talk and talk and talk and talk. And he would boldly practice his English all the time. And he was fearless. After just a few short months, we became really close friends. He was only an international student for 1 semester. But his English improved incredibly fast. And by the time he left, he became one of my best friends. Later, I went to China, and he came and visited me from Korea 2 times. Then I went to Japan to travel, and he came and visited me in Japan. Finally, I got to go to Korea and visit him a couple times. And he even came all the way back to Texas to be a part of my wedding. And he was a groomsman in my wedding. There he is, right there, Austin. Those are my groomsmen and my bridesmaids, and that's me kissing my wife the day I got married. Isn't that amazing? It's all about motivation. It's all about motivation. Austin was motivated to improve his English and make friends cross-culturally. You can be like Austin too. You could take many classes, you could try many things, you could study every day. But really, it all gets down to motivations. Do you really want to become bilingual? Do you really want to make friends from around the world? Do you really want to succeed cross-culturally? It's up to you. You can be like my friend Austin. You just need to find the motivation. You can do it. 我们一起加油. Thank you guys for letting me share today. Everyone say hi.